So can someone come and prove to me Daniel 2 and Daniel 7 prophesies your Antichrist Mahomet? Now, I don't want to insult you guys, but you guys are brave. But then when we call you out, you don't show up. I have more respect for Aisha because she must have been brave to have a 54-year-old mounting her while she was playing with dolls. Why can't you show more courage for your God and his messenger? Why don't you come on? But specifically, since they're not going to come on, yeah, let Muslim. I can't call lantern because he's no lantern.
Muslim lantern.
Yeah, Muslim. Yeah, let Muslim lantern shine the light on us instead of hiding. So, brother, Tauhid, what is it? Why did you want to pick on Tauhid?
Well, Muslims seem to think that they have this strict monotheism, and they have this monopoly on this strict monotheism when it comes to their Allah. But they really don't. And I don't think that they truly understand that.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we can look at this from many different angles. Is there a specific angle you want to look at it from?
Hey, this might be a good angle to go from right here. Muslims must worship the sun. We've been doing this quite a bit on TikTok. Weirdly enough, you had this up there already. But I was going through the argument with a Muslim last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You kidding me? So you use the argument. Okay. Yeah. If you guys are not aware, I just uploaded a 2-part challenge to Muslims because in the Quran, it's right here. It's on my blog. I can get you the articles. Here it is. I'll share it to you on private. You can share it with everyone else. See, I'm not young. My throat gives out. 1 second, man. That's it. It sucks being me. Anyway, there it is for you and for everyone else. And on Rumble, here you go. That's part 1. And if you go down, scroll down, it'll take you to part 2. Mm-hmm. In the Quran, now, if you believe Muhammad spoke the Quran, Muhammad is being ordered to say the following. Say, if the All-Merciful had a son, then I am the first. Let me see if it's large enough. Let me enlarge it a little more. The screen. Let's do this. I am the first to serve him. Glory be to the Lord of the heavens and earth. So notice, if Allah has a son, then Muslims would be required to serve him. Glory be to the Lord of the heavens and the earth, the Lord of the throne, above that they describe. Then leave them alone to plunge and play until they encounter that day of theirs, which they are promised. So here's the challenge. If you can prove Allah has a son, now again, I'm using Allah in a generic sense. I want to be clear. I do not believe all of the Quran is a true God. He's a false God. But we're going to use Allah in a generic sense where we're going to use the term to refer to our God, who's not the God revealed through Muhammad. Muslims are told, if you can prove that Allah has a son, then Muhammad is the first to serve him, which means they must follow his example. So here are other English versions of that passage, 4381. Say, if the merciful one has a son, then I'm the first to worship him. Say, if the God of mercy had a son, the first would I be to worship him. And then the 2 Jalals. Tafsir al-Jalalain. This is their exposition. Say, if the compassionate one had a son, hypothetically speaking, I would have been first among the worshippers of that son. But it is established that he, exalted be he, does not have a child, and thus there can be no worshiping of such a child. So I'm challenging Muslims. I'm going to use your own Quran to prove that you must worship Jesus as God's son. So we'll give them a few minutes, and if you want to add anything. Now, was this the angle you were following?
This is the angle that I was following, yes, Sam. And just as I'm going down, I'm not going to mention it, but just as I'm going down in your article, there are a few verses in your article that I was referring to as well. Now, I didn't use them all, which I would have preferred to have this article in front of me last night when I was going through that, but now I do. So,
wow. Sean, are you here to ask a question relevant to Tauhid, brother? If not, this is for Muslims only. So if you're not here for that, brother, then you have to wait, because we're trying to give Muslims a first dib. If not, then we're going to have to expand it because this brother has about over 2 hours, God willing, because 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he's going to be moderating a debate between Albie and a Jehovah's Witness. Right? What's the
That's
topic?
right. Yeah, the topic is going to be, did Jehovah create his logos? A logos.
Who's the Jehovah's Witness?
His name is Bo Knows.
What's his name?
Bo Knows.
Yeah, ex-Muslims can come up. Bo knows. We got to. Yeah. This guy's going to be a blasphemer. Hold on. Watch it. So what I have to do is this. Okay, Unitarian, what's your background? What's your background?
I'm a Unitarian.
What kind of Unitarian?
Biblical Unitarian.
So you're not a Muslim?
No, sir.
Okay, I don't want to hear noise in the background. Who's in the background?
Sorry.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so I got to make sure you're kosher. So you think Jesus is just a man?
I believe he's divine, but I do not believe he's God.
So how is he divine if he's not God? What do you mean?
Well, I believe he's the Son of God.
And what does that mean to be the Son of God?
That he was chosen to be born to be the Messiah and save mankind.
So does he pre-exist his birth?
I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I don't see that there's any evidence in the Old Testament other than conjecture.
Well, we don't care what you think you see because you limit it to the Old Testament. If we go with just the Old Testament, which I can show you in the Old Testament too, but then that means how are you going to demonstrate that Jesus is the Messiah of the Old Testament if you just go with the Old Testament and not read the New Testament to help illuminate your reading of the Old Testament?
Well, I do read the New Testament.
So why'd you limit it to the Old Testament?
Well, I was just answering your question. You asked me if he pre-existed in the Old Testament.
Doesn't need to pre-exist in the Old Testament because the New Testament's where we get the revelation of Jesus. And so it's the New Testament going to tell us whether Jesus pre-exists or not.
Okay, so, but that doesn't make sense. Why would it not say in the Old Testament that he did?
Why would it not make sense if the New Testament appeals to Old Testament passages that Jesus fulfills? Because without the New Testament, how do you know that Jesus fulfills anything in the Old Testament? You're not making sense.
Well,
how do you know Jesus fulfills anything in the Old Testament without the New Testament?
Well, you have to look at both.
That's what I just did. I just told you you're going to need the New Testament to demonstrate the pre-existence of Christ. Well, it doesn't make sense to me. All right, boy, can you show me from the Old Testament? Okay, come on, man. Be serious. If you're here to joke, I'll get you out of here. Let's have a serious conversation. See, that's it. See, he left. I didn't throw him out. He left.
Definitely, you didn't throw him out. Both your hands weren't even on your mouse when he took off.
Yeah, Old Testament. Yeah, I got a world championship belt. You know what I'm saying? But I got WWE, bro. Yeah, Old Testament, buddy. Yeah, I need Old Testament, bro.
I hope that wasn't their champion. Like he come up here with the belt. He man, how do you come up here with a belt as your profile pic, and then you run away like a little coward like that after one simple question? Like,
Dude,
come on now.
School you, man, Chris. Shoot. Anyway, Chris, since I don't think they're going to engage, if you want us to engage the topic, because that's why. And initially, Chris invited me to go to his channel. What I said was, we'll do it on my channel to get him more subscribers. So that's why I'm doing it here. He wanted me, look at this dumb bastard with the LMFO. These people with the foul mouth. I'm going to cuss you guys out in your ancestry if you keep using foul language, you dirty spiritual bastard.
Like, these people know you, Sam. They know that they should not be using the LMAFO in your chat. How many times have you told people not to do it? It's LMBO.
Yes, right. And then he said F, yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Do me a favor, sister. Don't send me stuff from people who are stupid and idiots. We're going to make bad arguments because I don't want to block you. Don't do that again. Yeah, she's sending me an argument from some clown. Anyway, so sorry about that. The people think they're doing me a favor by sending me stuff, but idiots, they're brave behind their screen. They won't come here. But anyway, point being, since we're not going to have customers, we'll engage the topic. He wanted me to come and show that TAUHID is not taught in the Muslim sources.
Mm-hmm.
That TAUHID is not taught in the Muslim sources. So that's why he invited me. So I wanted to do it here to get him more traffic. So guys, bless the guy's ministry. He's only now 496 short. I think now you said 500.
Yeah, we're only about five. Let me take a light. It's about 600 people away.
Well, how many we got to check?
I'm gonna check right now. We'll have actual time.
Let's see.
I need about 570 more.
See, I told you it's going down, sir. I thought it was 4. Okay, here it is, guys. Here's the channel. Let's make him get 10,000. Let's get ready to rumble. So we'll talk about Tauhid. All right, because we have no customers. So let's break it down for them. Now, let me bring some articles. All you guys need to do, like scripture deplug, you just go here. Okay, well, not here, this one. Yeah, that too. But here, and you put in just the word Tauhid. Tauhid, Tauhid. That's how it's typically transliterated. Trinity versus Tauhid. There goes, first article. Right? And I'm excerpting a chapter from the book of the late Dr. Labib Mikhail, who is a giant of the Christian faith. He went to be with the Lord. He's resting with the Lord. So then you scroll down again. Notes for Tauhid debate with Yahya, part 2. See, these were notes I made for the debate. And part 1, showing them that Sunni Islam does not teach Tauhid. So there it is. Just do that and use the material. It's all yours. You can upload them, clip them, translate them, but learn the facts and share them accurately. Now, we may have a customer. Let's see. Oh, Soldier Vala. Do you know this guy?
No.
Oh, he left. Okay. What happened, guys? Come on up. Because what I got to do is they will cuss us out, slander us, and then on top of that, they will then flash. You know, they flash videos of naked people. They've done it on my channel. I know they done an Avery channel. Did they do it on your channel?
Yes, sir, they have. And what they'll do now is they'll start coming up with names of people from your chat that you always talk to, thinking you're just going to let them up, and they do it on screen like that too.
Yep. All right, let me just start. Okay, so first of all, let's define the term Tawhid. Now, there are people whose mother tongue is Arabic, and there are people who speak Arabic like the Chaldeans, who think they're Assyrian, but they're really Chaldeans. Ex-Muslims can come on up, who know Arabic. So remember, all Assyrians are really Chaldeans, but it's a cover-up. It's a Jewish conspiracy. The Illuminati want to cover up the fact that all Assyrians are actually Chaldeans. Tawhid. Those of you who can pronounce Arabic better than me, I have a hard time pronouncing English. Tawhid, wahda, wahda, it really means to unify or consolidate. The verb from which you get tawhid, wahda, means to consolidate, to unify, to make one. It's ironic that the very word used, right, for tawhid actually means to make something one. To make one. Let me get you an article that I wrote on there as well. All right. Let's see here. Well, I think I'm going to find it. Yeah, Tawhid. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Now, if you're an ex-Muslim, come on up. We'll help you, dude, in your journey to make one. Let's see. Guys, I have so many articles. I can't even keep up with it. I don't even know what's what anymore. Okay, to make one. To unify. Let's see. To unify. Sorry, brother. You see how slow I am, right?
That's all right.
Oh, here it goes. I got it here. Here's the other article. Let me share it with you. I found it. So I got to even know how to use my own search engine. So here you go, guys. We have no customers. Maybe I'll open up Q&A later when our brother has to go and moderate the debate. So there it is. Let's see what the word means according to Muslim sources. In me power. This comes from where? Let's see where I'm quoting from so people don't think. The concept of Tawhid Islam, October 7, 2005. Let me see if it's still online. Bismika Allahumma. Oh,
wow.
It's changed the URL. The URL has changed. You know what this is? It's that obese fat pig, Malaysian pig, who got arrested for having child pornography on his...
that's that Mensch guy, right?
Yeah, the Mensch, yeah. That fat pig who got arrested for child pornography, and yet he was on TV. He goes, yeah, but my lawyer defeated the case and I'll sue you. Yeah. All right. Now, here is the admission. You guys see? The word itself, here it is. The word itself, right here. On the screen. Let me see if it's large enough for everyone. Is it large enough?
I can read it.
Okay, you can. Yeah, so, but it's large for us, but for them, it may not be large. That's
True.
all. Oh, did I actually do something? Hold on, bro. Shoot. Did I go on my Facebook? See, too many issues at one time. Did I go on Facebook and set it on public? 1 second, people. Too much to. Can you guys see the screen? Too much, man. Too much to follow, man. Oh, sorry. And chime in if you need to, brother. All right, let me see. Yep, I did. Okay, let's read the quote. Tauhid comes from the word wahad, which literally means to unite. So even the word means to unify, to consolidate, to make one. Stuck for Allah, get stuck for Allah. In Islamic terminology, it means to realize and maintain the unity of Allah in one's actions, inwardly, outwardly. The actual word Tawheed does not occur in the Quran or Sunnah. Now, I actually found out that this statement is incorrect. There is a hadith in one of the, what they call the Sahih Sitta, one of the 6 major collections of the hadiths accepted by Sunni Muslims, not in Bukhari Muslim, where the word Tawheed is used actually. Someone pointed out. Now, this mistake is a mistake of the Muslims. Don't blame us. We didn't make this mistake. We didn't make this mistake. The Muslim made this mistake. So don't blame us, folks. We just report, you decide. The Prophet sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal as governor of Yemen in 9 AH. He told them, you'll going, you illiterate, you sound like it's the Quran. It should be, you'll be going to the people of the book. So first invite you wahidu. Allah. Further, the division of Tawhid into the components known to us today were not done by the Prophet's companions. An embarrassing admission. In Salafi anthropomorphism, in the particular sect of Sunni Islam called Salafi, or they call themselves, we who follow the Salaf as-Salih, we follow the first 3 generations. They are also degradingly called Wahhabis, Kimosabi, Wahhabi, because they look up to Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, an 18th century so-called Muslim reformer, who many Muslims who are Sunni hate and condemn as a bloodthirsty murderer who takfir, declared Muslims to be unbelievers, making their murder lawful. So he's disliked among other Sunnis who are not Salafis or Wahhabis, who look to Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Anyway, put that aside. These Salafis will sell you for a fee, break down Tawheed into 3 categories. Now, the other Sunnis, the ones who are Asharis, the Ashaira, and the just like speaking Arabic, because it sounds like I know what I'm talking about and sound intelligent. So the Ashaira, the Asharis, the Maturidis, you see, I sound intelligent. I want to sound smarter than you. Anyway, the Asharis and the Maturidis, they're part of Sunni Islam. They do not subscribe to this. They do not subscribe to this. So Hamza Yusuf, who's an Ashari, he's also a Sufi. He practices what they call tasawwuf. And he also embraces tawassul, istighada. See how smart I sound? Damn, man. If I was a woman, I'd ask me to marry me. Anyway, Hamza Yusuf, who's an Ashari, rejects this. Anyone who's an Ashari or Maturidi rejects this 3-fold classification of Tawheed. Who accepts this? Those who are called Salafis, Wahhabis, who follow what they call the first 3 generations of Muslims, the Salaf as-Salih, meaning Muhammad's companions, their followers, the Tabi'in, and the Tabi'in, their followers. Damn, man, I'm getting puffed up. I feel like I'm so smart. Smarter than King Sylph. So only this branch of Sunni Muslims accept this. Why am I highlighting this? To show you that even in Sunni Islam, they're not unified. Do not let them deceive you. Not only are Sunnis and Shia divided, within Sunni Islam, you have branches that are divided, and Shia Islam, you have branches that are divided. So within Sunni Islam, you have Sunnis versus Sunnis. Within Shia Islam, Shia versus Shia, let alone the differences in animosity between them. Okay? So the Salafis who will sell you for a fee break down Tawheed into 3 categories. Here are the 3 categories. I need you to listen and learn. 3 categories, only accepted by the Salafis who will sell you for a fee. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah meaning Allah is the only sole Lord, Rabb of all creation. His is the sovereignty in the heavens and the earth. That's Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Second category, Tawheed al-Ibadah or Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, meaning Allah alone is to be worshipped and served. Third category, Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat, that Allah possesses unique characteristics and names that cannot be attributed to a creature in their definite form. Now notice the admission here. This division of Tawheed was not done by Muhammad or his companions. You understand the admission here? Everyone got it?
It almost sounds like a doctrine that was invented after Muhammad had left and things to this nature, really.
Absolutely. That's why the Ashaira or the Asharis, Maturidis reject this, saying this is an innovation. They call it bid'ah. You're innovating. You're dividing Tawhid into categories that was not done by Muhammad or his companions. Another thing, the admission that the word Tawhid is not in the Quran. Why? You bury these Muslims saying, hold on. You're telling me that unless I find the word Trinity, because some of them are stupid enough to use that argument still, in the Bible, then the Trinity is not true? All right, since I can't show you the word Trinity in the Bible, then show me the word Tawhid in your Quran. They'll say, oh, but the concept is taught. Oh, thank you. You don't need the word for it to be true. The concept of the Trinity is taught in the Bible. Now, if they tell you, well, the later formal doctrine, the formalization, the terminology used to express the Trinity is not found in the Bible or in the early Christian writings, then you turn the table against them. Neither is your formulation, classification of Tawheed into various branches found in the teachings of Muhammad's companions. Sure you want to go there? See the point what I'm doing? So the threefold attack. Number one, the verb from which you get Tawheed means to consolidate, to unify, to make one. So even the word Tawheed does not rule out plurality. Are you with me there? It does not rule out plurality. The word itself assumes and presupposes plurality, that you're making one, you're consolidating, you are unifying. Number two, the word Tawheed is not in the Quran, or its elaborate formulation and threefold classification cannot be found in the statements of Muhammad's companions. Right here. Right? So there you go. Now, here's another source. Now, who's this from? This comes from Zakir Naik. Now, let me see if the article is still up. Zakir Naik. Nope. Oh, yeah, there it goes. It's still up.
Wow. Usually, and this is weird too, because a lot of the times the links that you've used to disprove Islam, they've ended up removing those links from the internet a lot of those times. So I'm surprised that these links are still up, honestly.
Yeah, that's why I have to go to the archive, or they'll change the URLs to keep making you look for the updated URLs. Now, look what Dr. Naik said. The brother, you know, the one who salivates like it's going out of style. Here it is. Concept of God. Islam believes in Tawheed, which is not merely monotheism, I believe one God, but much more. Tawheed literally means unification. This is from the brother. He said to me that when you say Tawheed, then you're saying to unification. But brother, you don't understand. When we say that Tawheed comes from Wahda,
And we mean to the other side. We mean the attributes of Allah, they're plural, but in one. Okay, brother?
Man, my tongue tastes very tasty. Why are you laughing, man?
That's like one of the best Dr. Zakir Nikes I've ever seen or heard in my life.
I don't know,
I
man.
closed my eyes, I almost thought I was speaking to Dr. Zakir Naik right there.
I don't know, man. The Christian Prince does the best version to date. I don't know. I used to think his was spot on, but hey, I'll take that.
So, brother, I want you to know something. The brother asked a good question. It Tawheed means from Wahda. Because look at here, brother. The Tawheed derived from Arabic verb Wahda, which means to unite, unify, consolidate. Then, brother, that means that Allah, His plurality and unity. Yes, brother. Yes, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, brother.
Yeah, and see, the best part is that you spit just as much as Zakir Naik does. See, the other apologists don't add in that spit and the phlegm. You get that right in there, right?
Yeah, I think that. I think there, no one can outdo me in the spitting.
That's
okay,
right.
So far, anyone here to challenge us? Anybody here?
I really didn't think that anyone was gonna come and challenge the Sam Shimon. There's a lot of people that say they're gonna refute Sam, but to actually do it, I didn't think there was going to be anybody that would come up.
And by the way, brother, use this article that I sent you. I'm now quoting Sunni Muslims who are not Salafi that condemn this threefold classification of Tawheed. Nuh Hamim Keller. He actually accuses these Muslims of creating a Muslim trinity. See it? He now condemns them for innovating. Or consider the 73-page introduction to volume 1 of this same translation, tract that explains the Muslim trinity. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat. And then he condemns them, saying, in this way, you're imitating the Christians. See, nobody knew this threefold classification. Look, and he's not the only one. Here's another one. Now, by the way, to break your hearts, Nuh Hamim Keller is a convert to Islam, which means he came from a Christian background. But for you who are Lebanese and Catholic, this dude should really upset you. Sheikh Jibril Fuad Haddad, a Lebanese Catholic who became a Muslim, was now considered one of the most knowledgeable Sufi Sunni Muslim scholars. And what does he say about the threefold classification of Tawheed? Here you go, brother. Look what he says. This report is true and its meaning undisputed. It shows that Tawheed is one and not three. Its splitting into three is one of the innovations of misguidance that created fitna among Muslims and is reminiscent of the Byzantine disputations, meaning Trinitarian disputations.
That's crazy.
You got the article, right?
And underneath that, weirdly enough, there's a huge scholar that Muslims always love to quote, and he goes by the name of Ibn Taymiyyah. Now,
and he condemns him.
And this guy condemns Ibn Taymiyyah because Ibn Taymiyyah take the same view, or
because Ibn Taymiyyah, they consider him an innovator who came up with novel ideas that are not true to the spirit of Islam. For example, for lack of a better term, Ibn Taymiyyah would be what we would call today an anthropomorphist, meaning Ibn Taymiyyah championed the view that Allah actually has hands, has a foot, has a shin. He literally is istawa, like King Silv. You did a session on it where you quoted even some that say Allah actually sits. Yep, Mujassim. He sits on the throne, that he actually sits. King Silva, if you guys don't know it, they did a session on Divine Mercy Apologetic session where he quotes the Arabic, and the word used is that he sits. Now, Ibn Taymiyyah was one of those who championed that these are not metaphorical expressions. Mujassim, exactly. Jassima. But Ibn Taymiyyah did not say Allah had a body and didn't deny it. So let me now make it more confusing for every one of you. Okay, let me make it more confusing for every one of you. Ibn Taymiyyah said we need to stick as close as possible to the Sunnah of Muhammad, the Quran, and the way Muhammad, his companions, and their followers and the followers after them expressed Allah's nature, what they call Salaf as-Salih, the 3 generations, the predecessors. Because there's a hadith attributed to Muhammad where Muhammad says, the best generation is my generation, and the one after that, and the one after that. So Muhammad is reported to say, my generation is the best, the one after that is second best, and the one after that. So these are considered the 3 best generations. So the first generation are the Sahaba, companions of Muhammad. Okay, a Sahabi is a companion of Muhammad, meaning someone who met Muhammad. The second generation are called the Tabi'een, the disciples of the companions of Muhammad. Okay, the third generation are called the Tabi'een, the disciples of the companions of Muhammad. Everyone with me so far? So Ibn Taymiyyah said, if we don't have any authentic narration coming from Muhammad or his companions that say Allah has a body, then we don't use that word, even though there is nothing denying it. There is no authentic statement attributed to Muhammad and his followers that they denied Allah has a body, but there is no authentic statement saying he does. So they say, Allahu alam, kayfiyya, billah kayf. Everyone with me there? Or Allah knows, and these are attributes that there's nothing comparable to them, right? They exist in a manner befitting Allah's majesty, and we leave it at that. So we don't say he has a body. We don't deny he has a body. We don't say he has one. We don't deny that he has one. We leave that to Allah. But then you ask them, now why, again, to go back to your point, why then did Jibril Haddad condemn him? Because those who are not Salafis think that Ibn Taymiyyah was a cancer on the Islamic community because he hammered that these are actual attributes. You don't allegorize them, and he condemned those that did. So if you have a Hamza Yusuf who says that Allah's hand means his power, Ibn Taymiyyah would condemn him, saying that's innovation, that is a lie, that's not what Muhammad said, that's not what his companions said. They affirmed it's a hand, but they didn't explain how. These Muslims condemned him for that. These Muslims condemned him as being a heretic, whereas those who follow Ibn Taymiyyah say, no, you're the heretics. So not everyone likes Ibn Taymiyyah.
You know what's really funny about this? Ibn Taymiyyah is like the champion scholar on TikTok for the TikTok Muslims, because lately their whole argument is Allah is a father in a sense, and they use Ibn Taymiyyah as their source to say that as well.
So, well, then that means Jibril Haddad is right about Ibn Taymiyyah. He's an innovator who goes above and beyond the Quran and the Sunnah. How can you say in one breath, you don't know if Allah has a body, you don't affirm it, deny it, because Muhammad never used that term, nor the companions, but then say Allah is a father in a sense, when Muhammad never, ever, ever, ever used that language for his God?
And I think he actually used the opposite. He denied being a father in many verses of the Quran, right?
Yep, absolutely. He rejected the notion that God could be a father covenantally, spiritually, because when the Jews and Christians in chapter 5, verse 18 told Muhammad, we are the sons of Allah's beloved, he goes, no, you're not. Because if you were, why does he then punish you for your sins? You're just creatures, mortals that he created. That's all you are. So no Jew or Christian believed that Allah, their Allah, sired them sexually, because they didn't believe he was a physical being who had sex. They meant that spiritually, we are his spiritual children. When we enter in a covenant, we become his children. He becomes our spiritual father. He goes, no, you're not. All you are, all we are slaves to Allah. So he rejected the spiritual, metaphorical meaning of fatherhood. So no, you can't, unless you're saying Muhammad doesn't know what he's talking about, and we agree he doesn't. You can't even say he's a father metaphorically, spiritually, because didn't your prophet know that? Didn't he know that this is what Jews and Christians meant? Now they may say, yeah, but he was simply saying they're not his spiritual children. Then why didn't he call him father? So let's put them aside. Why don't you find Muhammad saying he's not your father, he's my father, the father of the ummah? That's not going to work, right? That's not going to work. You see what I'm saying? So Mr. Memphis is talking about his mother. His mother's name is Aisha. He's saying that the Shia plumber came to his house. He's on your channel. And he took his plunger and stuffed it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, he deleted now.
Yeah, and I'm saying, and his uncle mounted him because his mother's a Shia whore and he's a prostitute and he pimps his mother. It's okay, Mr. Memphis. We'll send the Shia to you in Memphis, Tennessee. Ride him cowboy, because that's what your uncle's doing. Anyway, coming back to the issue. Now, as you're listening to this, then Allah could have simply said through Muhammad, the Jews and Christians are not my sons. You are my sons. You Muslim pagan stone lickers who mount young girls, right? Who mount young girls, prepubescent girls like Muhammad mounted a 9-year-old, who go around taking women captive and molesting them, even if they're married, committing adultery, who beat women, right? And then lick black stones. You are my sons and daughters. Why didn't he say that? Why didn't he say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you Jews and Christians are not my sons and daughters. Muhammad and his bastard followers, these murdering jihadis, who mount young girls playing with dolls and swings like Muhammad did with Aisha, who then go around, take women captive, even married one, and then molest them and sell them off, who then beat women and lick the black stone, right? They are my sons and daughters. He could have said that, right?
Coulda.
Why didn't he?
Because he ain't a father to no one.
All right. He's not even father to the same bastard perverts that reflect Allah, because Allah of the Quran is Satan.
That's right.
All right. So now you guys see how the Muslims are scared, like Aisha. They won't come and refute us because we're quoting their sources. Look what Jibril Haddad says about Ibn Taymiyyah. He invented double or triple Tawheed. Invented bid'ah. Bid'ah. Bid'ah means innovation. And if it's an innovation, it's not from the religion. So why don't they come up and put us in our place?
Yeah, and hey, Ibn Taymiyyah is doing nothing but bid'ah. Come on, Muslims, get up here and stand up for your scholar. We all know that you're all down there, all upset. Y'all got that frowny face. What's Sam talking about Ibn Taymiyyah for? Come on, shut up, get up here, and let's see what you got.
We may got a customer, but I don't think he's a customer. He's going to flash us. Be careful. Okay, Q, what can I do with you? Q,
Hi. So I don't have too much time just because I have to break iftar soon.
You gotta do what?
I have to do iftar soon, or like break my fast. I mean, I have about 40 minutes before.
Okay, good. We'll talk then. But I want you to come back after iftar because I'd like to talk to you. You seem like you have questions, objections.
It's not necessarily that I have objections. It's more that I'm trying to understand the argument. Like coming from a Muslim perspective, you know, I take criticism, I take like arguments, and I just can't.
Born Muslim, though?
I was born Muslim, but I left Islam at a very young age. I was in a practicing family.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure your background because you have perfect English. So I didn't know.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I was born Muslim, but I wasn't born into an extremely practicing family. So I left Islam and was atheist for a long period of time. But it's not necessarily that. I just don't understand the argument. Is the argument that Islam teaches like non-monotheism? Because I think it's pretty clear that the Quran is monotheistic.
You can claim Allah's one, but when you study your sources and then you break down their implications, just like when a Christian tells you God is one, you say, no, you don't believe that. You believe three gods. Even though we say, no, it's one God, exists in three. No, that's three gods. Anyone can assert they believe in monotheism. It's when you go to the sources and you look at it, it's not pure Tawheed, it's also idolatrous because you associate creatures and elevate them status of God, let alone what you believe about God's nature. I mean, that's easily documentable. Now, before I show you, I don't know if you're Shia or Sunni. What are you?
Yeah, I'm Sunni, but I think I know where you're going.
Where am I going?
To go with about this. And one response I wanted to make about like when Muslims say, like I know Muslim apologists say like the Bible doesn't teach the Trinity, and the way in which the Trinity is derived through meaning is usually the response by Christians. If we use that same framework, which I'm willing to do for this in terms of this discussion, I can say, yes, the Bible does point towards the Trinity. It doesn't mean I believe that the Trinity is true. It doesn't mean I believe in the Bible. So similarly, we can use that with the Quran.
No, you can't, because your Quran elevates Muhammad to divine status.
And are you going to bring up the Tahiyatu Lillahi verse?
No, I'm bringing up the fact that the Quran says that without Muhammad, there is no salvation. Without Muhammad, Allah will not love you. And you must submit perfectly to Muhammad, because Islam is not just submission to your God, it's to Muhammad. And without his intercession, your prayers are null and void. This is in the Quran.
Okay.
I can show you that.
Yeah, I'm shocked because
It's all throughout the Quran. And I'm not even going into the Sunni tradition, where you have supposedly authentic narrations that says that when Adam sinned, the exposition of chapter 2, verse 37, and some authenticated Sahih, that Adam actually beseeched Allah. He goes, for the sake of your messenger Muhammad, forgive me. And then Allah asked him, how do you know about Muhammad? He goes, when I looked at the pillars of the throne and around the garden, I saw the Shahada. And then Allah supposedly says, had it not been for him, I would not have created you. That's in Sunni tradition.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, like, so I can truly understand? Because I am truly trying to understand.
No, I know.
This argument.
Adam invokes Allah using Muhammad as a wasila, and he says, forgive me for the sake of Muhammad. And then Allah asks him, how do you know about Muhammad? He goes, because I saw on the pillars of the throne and around the garden the Shahada, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. And then Allah says, had it not been for Muhammad, I would not have created you.
Okay, and I guess my response. Okay, can I give you my response to that?
You can give me anything you want.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, like, can you show me like the evidence, or like
yes, I will.
This being actually said, and then I can properly like form.
Just I gotta find, because I got too many articles. All right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Throne, pillar. Okay.
And I also don't want you to take this as like I'm trying to actively debate. I'm more or less just trying to understand the opposing argument.
Yep, here you go. I understand right here. Okay, here it is. This comes from Tafsir ibn Kathir, part 1, Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 1 to 141, abridged by Sheikh Nasib Rafai, Al-Firdaus Limited, London, 2nd edition, 1998. So you can get it on Amazon, page 107, footnote 10. Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm also pulling up the tafsir alongside.
Yeah, read it. Go to chapter 2, verse 30 in the Arabic. If you read the Arabic, not the English, that's abridged, because Darus Salam admits this. This is why this is not the Darus Salam version. The Darus Salam, being Salafi, expunged these kind of narrations. This is another version of Tafsir Ibn Kathir in English, not done by Darus Salam, which are Salafi. I don't know if you're a Salafi.
I'm not a Salaf, no.
So the Arabic will have this. Al-Bayhaqi cited the following hadith in his book Dalil and Nubuwah, Signs of Prophethood. Narrated Umar ibn al-Khattab, the Prophet said, when Adam committed the sin, he said to Allah, "Oh my Lord, I ask you with reference to Muhammad to forgive me." Allah said, "Oh Adam, how did you know about Muhammad? For I've not yet created him." Adam replied, "Oh my Lord, when you created me, I looked up and saw inscribed on the legs of the throne the words, 'There is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger.' I knew that you do not attach to your name, but the name of the dearest of your creation." Allah said to Adam, "You have spoken rightly, Adam. Muhammad is the dearest of my creation." To us, that's blasphemy, but that's okay. "I have forgiven you because you asked by Muhammad. Had it not been for him, I would not have created you." This hadith was narrated by Al-Hakim, who also classified it as Sahih. So at least he classified it as sound. Now, obviously, different scholars are going to have different classifications, but here's one who said it's sound. Among the transmitters of this hadith, this is now Ibn Kathir commenting, is Abdurrahman ibn Zayd ibn Aslam. Al-Haythami said, this hadith is reported by Ad-Dabarani, and a chain of transmitters are people I do not know. He doesn't know. Al-Hakim was therefore mistaken. So he's saying he's mistaken. Well, that's his opinion. And classifying this hadith as Sahih, because he himself criticized Abdurrahman ibn Zayd ibn Aslam in his book Ad-Duwaffa. So how can he state the authenticity of the hadith after he had criticized him? Well, take it up with him. But here's another source for this, and this comes from Qadi Iyad Musa al-Yahsubi, Muhammad, Messenger of Allah, Ash-Shifa of Qadi Iyad, translated by Aisha Abdurrahman Bewley. You can get it, and this was recommended by Hamza Yusuf. You can get it on Amazon, page 89. Okay, watch here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she made a typo. It's supposed to be chapter 2, verse 37. Abu Muhammad al-Makki, Abu Layth as-Samarqandi, and others related that when Adam rebelled, he said, "Oh Allah, forgive me my error by the right of Muhammad." Okay, watch here. Let me enlarge the screen a little bit. Let me just for everyone. Right of Muhammad. Allah said to him, "How do you know Muhammad?" He said, "I saw written in every place in the garden, there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah." So I knew that he was the most honored creation in your eyes. So Allah turned to him and forgave him. It is said that this is the interpretation of the words of Allah. Adam learned some words from his Lord. Another variant has that Adam said, "When you created me, I lifted my gaze to your throne, and written on it was, there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah." So I knew there would be no one held in greater esteem by you than the one whose name you placed alongside your own name. Allah then revealed to him, "By my might and majesty, he is the last of the prophets among your descendants. If it had not been for him, I would not have created you." It is said that Adam was given the kunya Abu Muhammad, Father Muhammad. Some people say that it was Abu al-Bashar, the father of mankind. Do you believe that?
No. Okay, can you go back to the paragraph above, where it was talking about the reason why this hadith is not considered sahih?
Yeah, but that's not it. I know you're going to go there. This man gives you sound narrations that say it's sahih. So I know you're going to go there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason in which I'm going there is because, like, obviously, if it's not considered as sahih, if there's
It
any
is. Right here.
okay.
Believe me, I understand. The Jibril mentioned similar reports. This hadith that Adam's tawassul through the prophets rated by the companions, Masaida, Ibn Abbas, and Umar, with chains varying in strength from strong to very weak. So there are several chains, and some are sahih. Don't focus on the da'if. Focus on the
Can
sahih.
you send the link to this by any chance so that I can
Sure.
go through this on my own? And
so now, since you and by the way, even if it's da'if, it means it passed. It doesn't mean it's forged and you are to reject it. If it's classified da'if, you cannot get rid of it. That's why it's included in the collections. That don't just.
No, I agree. Like, when it comes to hadith science, like, we don't just throw out hadith like that. But yeah, we do consider them to be weak. But there's reasons for that during the chain link. So I want to do more research on that.
More research. Okay,
because
I'm
just not super knowledgeable on that, in specific. But
so let me give it to everyone else. But now I'm going to show you from your Quran where you got to perfectly submit to Muhammad, and he has to pray for you to be forgiven. I just sent you the link. Hold on. Now, brother, you got that link too, right?
Yeah, I've opened the link.
Yeah.
Yes, I do, brother. And
I'm going to give you my Skype or email if you ever want to go and talk more when you have free time. Because I know you came from a Muslim background when you left Islam.
That would actually be great. I want to understand opposing arguments. That's the whole.
I think I've heard this sister speak with Avery before too.
Yeah, I have spoken with Avery before, and I understood I was trying to understand the argument over just Jesus in the Bible and so on and so forth. And
if you want to talk about Jesus, that's more important. But I want to just show you here. Let me get
you. Yeah. I want to understand this argument in specific because I've only heard one argument of when it comes to the Quran, which is the Tahiyatullahi verse.
There's the uncreated Quran. There's the Ruh of Allah. That's not Jibreel. It's very complicated. But anyway, here in chapter 4, verse 64, I'm going to show you how the Muslims interpret it, not me. But first, let me give you this. 464. We sent no messenger, but to be obeyed by Allah's leave. If they, when they had been unjust to themselves, had come to you and begged Allah's forgiveness, and messenger had begged forgiveness for them, indeed they would have found Allah all forgiving. So, condition. They have to come to Muhammad. Muhammad prays for them, and they ask Allah for forgiveness. And it's not the only one. Chapter 9, verse 103. Take sadaqah from their wealth in order to purify them and sanctify them with it, and invoke Allah for them. Verily, your invocations are a source of security for them. And Allah is all here, all knower. So, condition. Pray for them, invoke Allah. The only problem, and I'm going to ask you, but then I'm going to show you how the Muslims solved it. These are Sunni Muslims. I want to ask you, the only problem is, if the Quran is for all Muslims, for all generations and any of time, how are those two passages applicable that Muhammad's dead? How do you go to him and he prays for you?
So when we say the Quran is applicable through all time, the way in which I've always perceived it as when it comes to the rulings and jurisdictions, these are applicable through all time. So obviously Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is no longer with us. So we make our own du'as and supplications to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in fact, this was a debate that was done recently, actually, over whether or not we should takfir people who make dua or supplication towards angels or jinns, right? And we would consider this to be, I would consider this to be an act of kufar. So
Sister, slowly, you said too much. You're only going with what the Salafis say. The Ash'ari Maturidi Sunni saying we have authentic chains. Authentic chains where people went to the grave of Muhammad and invoked Muhammad and had
these are grave worshippers. Like this is
sister, you just said it. Muhammad's sister, this is what you get when you just listen to one side of the story. You must not be aware there are authentic narrations, sahih, where Muhammad's companions went to the grave because of chapter 464. And you know where you're going to find this? Tafsir Ibn Kathir. But you're not going to find it in the Darus Salam version. It's in the Arabic. So this is what you get because you're a Salafi Muslim. Now I see you are. Because you are arguing the Salafi argument. You're not arguing. And here, let me prove it. Let me just first here. Here it is. Let me go here. Hamza Yusuf. He's a